So last night was Canada's Throne Speech 2020, the speech to let us know how we're going to build back after the proroguing of Parliament to deal with COVID-19. And I'm just going through my series of notes here because, trust me, everyone in Canada, all your lives are about to get better. So you might have a problem. Let's say you're a woman. Our new approach is diversity. There'll be a fairness and inclusiveness minister promoted to diversity. So what problems do you have? Is your husband staying out late at the bar? There's a plan. It's called diversity. Are you a small business owner? Our plan is diversity. Are you Jewish? Our plan is diversity. Are you a Muslim and you are worried about the education system and you want to know, will your children be able to learn mathematics at a high level? Don't worry. Their answer is intersectional feminism and diversity. There will be a diversity and inclusiveness minister. So in case any Muslim or Hindu parents are wondering how the math class of their children will look going forward, our answer to you is diversity, intersectional feminism. Now, someone is saying, what about black business owners? There is a black business owners plan. Pipelines. Okay, actually, for the West, our plan, it does not say in the Throne Speech diversity, although, yes, there is diversity, but primarily it says FU. So if you're in Alberta, Saskatchewan, it's big FU. It's just like 3 pages here. It's just a big FU, and then there's a crude drawing on page number 3, and then it says diversity. So that's the plan for the West. It is FU, also diversity. That stops at BC because there's a lot more shenanigans there. So the plan for British Columbia is diversity. There's a lot here. So you might be thinking, democracy, is that on the stage? No, we're actually going to give control to the United Nations. That's a big part of this plan. Why? No, it's actually a 14-point plan. Point 1, diversity. Point 2, intersectional feminism. Point 3, even more diversity. Point 4, diversity in French. Point 5, French diversity, which is different than diversity in French. It's complicated. I have a degree in sociology. Point 6, D to diversity. Point 7, intersectional feminist diversity. Point 8, also again, more diversity. Point 9, this is where it gets a bit complicated. It's super intersectional feminism with a side of diversity. That's complicated. You can't get to it. So 9, diversity. 10, intersectional diversity. 11, de diversité. And then it goes on from there. So it's a very, very complicated plan. Now you're wondering, COVID-19. Hey, what about vaccines? What about medical respirators? What about these death rates? People are saying survival rates over 99% in most cases. In most quarters. Listen, to that I say, shut up. The Canadian government has a great plan for COVID-19. It is a 57-point plan, and yes, 55 of those 57 points are diversity. So, this goes on and on and on. The First Nations. Now, one, of course, don't worry, First Nations. We'll talk a lot more about diversity. You might be saying, but we're one tribe on this reserve right now. Like, we're all Micmac here. What does diversity have to do with anything? To that we say, shut up, diversity. But you might be saying things like, oh, what about clean drinking water and improving our education standards? Don't worry. We have a great plan to improve your lives by ceding governance and decision-making of your lives to the United Nations. I know First Nations people have complained about colonialism before, and just so you know, colonialism is the concept of a foreign power coming in and imposing laws upon the area there that the people there would not have control over, no taxation without representation. So to rectify colonialism, we are going to then put everyone on the reserves under the control of the United Nations, which, again, they have no voting control over because of diversity. I'm giving this Throne Speech an A++++, because, as we know, there are problems in Canada, and the only way to fix these problems is throw money at it. and then talk about diversity. So, like, I don't know what the Conservatives are doing talking about solutions, and I don't know what people you listen to, like this Daniel Bourbon fake news dark web guy, who are saying, you know, you actually need to restart the economy, get people back working, because money doesn't go on trees, and you can't just keep printing money like it's the Weimar Republic, because then you'll end up like the Weimar Republic, which preceded the Third Reich, and that's really bad, and hyperinflation is inevitable. But as far as I can tell, that's just fake news dark web talk. You know, listen to your local Liberal MP, whether it be Adam Vaughan saying something asinine, Justin Trudeau saying, well, he doesn't really say much. We also have Catherine McKenna. Big, we got hate speech on the internet. That's a big thing. You know, we're going to need a diversity and inclusion minister to just to censor all that hate speech. Any questions should be directed to B'nai B'rith and on the hate speech thing, because they are working with Aaron O'Toole now to bring back Section 13, which would be hate speech laws. I assume they didn't say anything about diversity because they're not the Liberal government, but it's basically the same thing. So good news is, if you're Canadian, all your problems will be solved, because we will throw a billion, gabillion, zamillion dollars at whatever problem you say, and then ramble on about diversity. So if you have a problem, just call the government. We'll give you $1 billion. Where's this money coming from? Who cares? And just keep in mind that all of this is very well thought out. It is a 50 to 100 point plan on every single issue. 98% of the points, I grant you, are diversity. The other 2% are free money. But hey, nothing bad has ever happened when governments just ignore the needs of their people and print money infinitely. Nothing bad has ever happened. Ever. Don't Google that.